So this example is one of those operations of functions as well as identifying the domain. So let's see. So it says, what is f of g? Basically, it's asking us, what is f of g of x, and then find the domain. So we understand that this is basically just taking our f of x function and dividing it by our g of x function. If you guys remember this notation, maybe you may have forgot it. Just remember that's the division. So we're going to take, so f of g of x is going to be x minus 7 divided by the square root of 4 minus x. All right? So now we need to remember domain and remember our restrictions on our domain. So in chapter 1, there was only 2 restrictions that we talked about. We talked about the restriction of you can't divide by 0, meaning the denominator cannot equal 0, and you cannot take the square root of a negative number. Right? Now, the nice thing about this is we can kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Typically, sometimes we would set up 2 restrictions. We do a restriction for the denominator and a restriction for the radical. But since the radical is in the denominator, we can do it just 1 restriction. We can say 4 minus x. Previously, we'd say 4 minus x has to be greater than or equal to 0. But now, since it's in the denominator, we know it can't equal 0, right? Because if that equals 0, then the denominator equals 0, which we can't have. So to eliminate the restriction of the radical, we create the radicand, we do this. And then to eliminate the restriction of the denominator being 0, we just set this as greater than. Now, we could do a couple, either way you guys could solve this. You could subtract and then divide by negative and flip the sign. Or you could just add the x to the other side and then just rewrite your inequality. So now this represents x minus 4. When we were doing domain and practicing writing domain, a lot of times we talked about getting the a line graph to understand how to write this. So let's pretend here's 4. X is less than 4. So therefore, it's an open circle, right? It's undefined. And it's going to go to all the values to the left. Correct? So now let's write this in interval notation. So let's see. We're at 4. But 4 is not included. So should we use a parenthesis or a bracket? Parenthesis. And then it's going to continue going on to negative infinity. And negative infinity is included or excluded? Excluded. So again, it's another parenthesis. So the answer choice is negative infinity, negative 4. And is that an answer choice? Positive 4. I don't know why I wrote positive. Oh, I just said negative 4 for some reason. Yep, and that's answer A.